It may seem as a dilemma right now. My invitation is here to see it for what it is. And then the energy is withdrawn, you see? So you no longer feel guilty. You're no longer wasting precious energy to self-evaluation. Why cannot I meet everyone in consciousness as consciousness?
So what was coming to my mind since yesterday, what I'm experiencing at the moment and also already some time ago, is that especially when I come back in my normal surrounding of people who are not going on a spiritual path, most of them, I encounter some kind of arrogance in myself, some thoughts of, yes, I know better than them, and I don't want to meet them again, and they don't have the insight that I have, and some kind of that. And so I just was wondering, I try to, or there's something in me that wishes to meet everything with compassion and loving kindness, and also, how to, I try to observe these thoughts and meet them with consciousness, and then remind myself that that's some kind of, that's probably consciousness playing itself out. And I was just curious if you have some input how to work with it. And it just came up this word arrogance all the time in my head, and also in my social interactions.
Good question. So, first of all, maybe a reminder is that we can't dodge consciousness. In other words, a real approach here should always be, or at least a rule of thumb, to be authentic. It goes without saying. There's no point to pretend. Intention is there, and I can hear that. I can hear that in the sincerity of your inquiry, and you confirming that there is this intention to meet everyone with compassion and empathy, right? So the intention is already there. But then we fall out of that intention in the direct encounters because the judgment comes in, because we can see we are immediately taken into the sphere of right and wrong, right doing and wrong doing. So let's separate wheat from the chaff so there's clarity. First of all, is that understanding that only authenticity of our predisposition here is what counts. And that authenticity always rests on the level of our consciousness anyway. So this is what I meant. We can't dodge consciousness. So we will be as we are. So we can pretend, for example, and put a kind of a brave face, soft face. We can be mannered, well-mannered. We can be well-intended, act. But that doesn't really what is important. What important is what we feel at any given moment in time. What is actually being experienced? What is the predominant flavor of experience? So this is where we're entering that a very subtle balance here. On one hand, the intention here is to meet everyone with compassion and empathy. This is already shows that we're coming from the right place, because this is our duty. This is our duty to apply the first principle, do not harm, always. First is do not harm. And that principle is the principle of in one of the fundamental principles of unity, of oneness, of understanding that all this is one indivisible reality, expresses itself in a myriad of ways, often conflicting ways, just as the waves rise this way and ride this way, the waves counter waves. You see this, the surface of the ocean can teach us a lot of things if you observe that. So not every day there is this stillness and complete still surface of the waters. Sometimes it's like you don't even know where it's coming or going, all that movement, all that motion. So we carry this understanding in a twofold way. One is that we have this already intention and predisposition to meet everything with compassion, including our own way of how we meet everything in life. So this compassion should actually proceed first and foremost from the place of, are we compassionate to our limitations? Because we will always fall short. We have to understand that. Part of this is understanding the fallibility, the very, very nature of being human is its fallibility because of that what is being maybe entrenched into our understanding of who we are and what we are. And then we need to be smart also, intelligent, because not every situation is the same. The underlying reality, the unifying reality, is all there is. But not every situation and every encounter is the same. We don't want to mix apples and pears. So with all the intentions, with all the good intentions, we also have to be authentic to the values we hold. So if we know something is wretched, we don't meet that with the same kind of attitude of, oh yes, no, this will be a lie. This will be insincere on our part. If we know someone, for example, harming themselves, harming others, and we see and witness that, we always have a choice. Choice, what do we do? And this could be from confronting that someone, leaving it as it is for, as it were, nature to sort things out, and turn away and look into another direction. There's a choice. Often when people are close to us, on whatever, or to whatever degree, we seem to be more easily drawn into that where we are driven by the propensity to reinstate our values. And there's nothing wrong with that. But being smart here is also understanding the limitations of that. Limitations. Speak the truth, say your say. If it doesn't bring any resonance, leave it at that. You see? And if in doing so you have encountered conflicting tendencies within yourselves, which you called arrogance, judging, be compassionate towards yourself. Why? Because it's nothing that what you're experiencing that in itself a betrayal of your values. You see? It takes a while to adjust this. And then it's as if the energy is withdrawn from there. You're not invested. You're not invested in that fight, in that race anymore. It goes on by itself. And in your complete and utter authenticity, you meet every situation as it is for what it is. Some situations are sweet and amiable, so why not to enjoy that? Other situations will be almost asking us for being confrontational. Again, we have a choice, you see? And sometimes we will not abstain from a good fight, you see? Why? Because that also remaining to be authentic. If something is being violated here, I have a choice to move away. But there will be situations when you will not have that choice. So words will be expressed, exchanged. No point to brew in and stew in one's own juices, you see? Sometimes you need to call spade a spade. There's no point to have relationships and connections where you cannot express yourself if someone, as I said, harming themselves. And you know, from the unifying perspective that no one is harming anyone, it's all ocean of consciousness. At the core, at the deeper level, everything has the same taste. Everything is wet. Everyone is wet. It's only salty water of the ocean. But what happens at the surface level, there is a lot of motion and movement. We cannot always remain at the bottom of the ocean, or even at its intermediate levels. Life is all about being pushed to the surface of these interactions. So it may seem as a dilemma right now. My invitation is here to see it for what it is. And then the energy is withdrawn, you see? So you no longer feel guilty. You're no longer wasting precious energy to self-evaluation. Why cannot I meet everyone in consciousness as consciousness? Well, if you ponder on that, the answer may startle you, because consciousness would have it this way, right now, this way. You see? This is the true non-dual understanding. This is a true Advaita. This is a true understanding of the oneness. Nothing happens here. Not a blade of grass moves. Not a grain of sand without the will of one and the only. Nothing. Everything is the expression of one and the only. Forever and ever, without a beginning and without an end. We carry that understanding in the heart. But we don't need to wear it on our sleeves. We don't need to turn it into some kind of slogans. We don't write it here. No. Maybe a tilaka is put here, maybe like, ashes drawn here, there, like, I don't know, the cultural kind of somewhere. But that's not about what we display outwardly. What's the most important is what you feel, what you experience. So remove that energy from there. Give it no food. You see? And you will see how the energy will move to a different region. So if you feel arrogant, well, you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I feel arrogant many times. I feel like, gosh, if only these people can see for themselves. What am I going to lock myself into the dialogue? Who is speaking? No. I'm no longer wasting time on these inner dialogues. As I said, if we're eating halva, we enjoy the sweetness. If I pick up, freshly pickled olive Mallorquin ones, they are really, really bitter. And that's the zest, and that's the why Mallorquins love them. You don't have a taste of them, don't eat these olives. They're not for you. Look for sweet ones. You see? Every flavor has its place. If someone speaks silly words, harsh words, if someone tries to pull your awareness, pull your consciousness into the grosser area, notice that, and that suffices. You don't need to be pulled by these words, even though every word carries vibration. Suffice to notice. In the same way, you notice that there is this waves goes through you. Wave you call arrogance. Why that is? Do you feel superior to others? Well, you know what? There's nothing wrong in actually at some point feeling superior if this is backed up by understanding. You see? understanding. No, I'm not in for all this kind of leveling everything. No, you know when you are good. In whatever domain, you know that you're good. You're a good chess player. You're not going to fool around that like, everyone plays the same. Sorry, mate, not the same. 6 move, checkmate, next. You see? When I teach my son play chess, I never tell him play just for sake of playing. No, the chess, the beauty of the chess is that it's an amazing game, but you have to checkmate. You have to win. You see? You cannot play basketball just by doing. There's a basket to hit. Do we have to hit the basket? Come on, let's just enjoy the ball. Let's give ball to everyone. Why do we have to run like so many guys running after one ball? Everyone has a ball, come on. No. And that's what marvels us. This is where it becomes this expression, grace. Grace can be in a basketball court just as much as in a meditation room. It's the same grace. How boring is the game when everyone plays the same and everyone is compassionate. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to take the ball from him. He looks so good with it. No. So this is what I mean to be smart. And before smart, being authentic. Authentic with ourselves and authentic with others. Whatever we do, we still are expressions of something. It's good to know that. It's humbling to know that. It's getting to know ourselves as well. And then, tremendous amount of energy is freed. Freed. It's not locked in that self-perpetuating conflict. That I'm not good enough, or I'm kind of like failing constantly. I'm setting the goal, setting the plank too high for myself, And then you will notice how the situations, people, encounters that irritated the hell out of you suddenly still irritate the hell out of you, but you're no longer invested, You don't have a dog in the race. It's the same thing. It's like when something is irritating, it's just like, when there is a precious incense burning, it fills the room with fragrance. But when there's something burning and smells like burning toast, it smells disgusting, I'm sorry. See? In both cases, something is burning. Right? So I don't need to pretend, it burns in the same way. No, I'm sorry, it doesn't. So this is where you meet life in an authentic manner, knowing always that it's only to the degree and level of your awareness. How much awareness is there? And then compassion is not something we can exercise. Compassion, in a way, no matter how strange it may sound, is a byproduct. Compassion is a byproduct. We cannot help. Empathy is a byproduct. Whenever there is something, when there's more. So in other words, whenever there is more consciousness, there's more of that, what consciousness is known for displaying. It has these qualities that come with it. Then life lived naturally. You see? So therefore we only tend to that. And there are ways. Therefore, point of reference is always to the self. Or in a more, let's say, dualistic approach, which has nothing wrong with, and a devotional approach, it's always given to the one and the only. Always delegated. There's nothing that is mine here. grief, anger, being pleased, displeased. It's all you, one and the only. There's no me here. I'm not invested. So I am here as I am. But in fact, all this is only one and the only. But it doesn't need to be as a merry-go-round or a record in the head. It's these flashes of understanding, you see, which illumines the way. Otherwise, we have to be simply living life in as natural way as we possibly could, because that's what it's all about. Leaving all the pretenses aside.
Thank you.
Thank you.